Hello, and welcome to the 8th episode of my Legend of Zelda Let's Play of the Ocarina of Time Master Quest. There's some slowdown in this video. I can't figure out why. I thought I was over that problem, but never mind. These things happen. Anyway, I made a mistake. I thought at the end of the last episode that you had to go into the Lost Woods. It turns out that you have to go into this village and then up these stairs. Don't go up any of the other stairs and go to the wrong place. Go up these stairs. Anyway, yes, we don't need to go into Lost Woods yet because we haven't given him the Keaton mask yet. And once we do that, we can get a mask that we have to give to Skull Kid, who's in Lost Woods. But not yet. So let's show him the letter that Zelda gave you earlier. This god is quite patronising. I suppose it's understandable, you know, with all the monsters around, and the fact that he guards what I assume to be a volcano with lots of monsters around it. I guess it'd be a bit patronising even if the kid was carrying a letter from the princess. And the kid said, I'm gonna save the world, but still he's a bit of a jerk, this guard, to be honest. Kind of like the trading sequences in previous Legend of Zelda games, there was the mask collecting sequence. It's not as long as the collection of masks you can get in Majora's Mask, but you can see the ideas of Majora's Mask are just kind of starting here. Like the idea of mask collecting, for example. This is the first appearance of the Happy Mask Salesman. Not that was a chicken. In a minute, when we get to the right price, it's the first appearance of the Happy Mask Salesman, so. Unfortunately, you need to do more running between the two villages, which does get tiresome. So I've cut out my running, basically, there. Rather than my sort of somersaulting through Hyrule Field. I've actually managed to find something which is quite cool today, which is an MP3 download of literally every track of music from this game that I found online. Because if you buy the official soundtrack, or certainly if you buy the copy that I found in the UK, it's only got 15 tracks, and it's sort of like the best music from it. But I thought all of the music from this was so good. It missed out loads of stuff, like the main one I wanted to get was the Forest Temple, but that wasn't on there, if I remember correctly, So yeah, Happy Mask Salesman isn't quite as creepy as he is in Majora's Mask. Still a bit weird. And the Keaton, if I remember correctly, appears in Majora's Mask, and it's a strange rabbit-like creature, I think. So yeah, I don't really know why I checked out that sign. The fine print isn't. You'd think when he says if you want the details, look at the fine print, that it would be some long legal document, but it's not. It basically says what he's already said. Useless information. It's kind of like the Navi of the Happy Mask shop in a way. It tells you things you don't really need to know. Navi's alright, she just kind of talks incessantly in the same way I do. Hopefully people think I'm alright, but I just talk incessantly. Anyway, I think we're getting a bit tired of these side quests. I certainly am. And you'll be happy to know that we're only a couple of minutes away from getting to the city of the Gorons, which is going to see us on our way to finally getting into the next kind of dungeon. The next place where we'll find the spiritual stone. And you'll actually see me start to go through that during this episode, so... I don't know why he wears masks. The mask himself has only got one. Says he's going to give it to his son, and now wears it himself. These creatures are really annoying, the Tektites. They appear in mountains in pretty much all of the early Legend of Zelda games. And well, I suppose they're fairly easy to avoid, but you've just always found them irritating. I like enemies that don't jump, if you see what I mean. And that's the Goron. I love the Gorons. Gorons are brilliant. I've never been particularly keen on the Zora, which is another race from this game, but I just think the Gorons are cool. It's the idea of this race of people that eat sparks. I think that's really cool. And just their appearance is kind of funny. And then they make that sort of noise and kind of curl up when you're not talking to them. I just think it's cool. And there must be a hall with a cow in it underground here somewhere, but I'm not sure where. But that's the only reason why you'd hear a cow mooing back there. For some reason they put loads and loads and loads of hearts here, way more than you would need. I mean, it's nice of them. I think later on, when you're an adult, it's rupees you get in there instead. Gonna let you listen to the music for a minute. I apologise for not looking at that sign longer, but I just came up here because it's what the Goron says is quite amusing. Love this idea that the Goron thinks that you've come here to eat the stone, the spiritual stone. That's like Goron logic, I guess. Anyway, yeah, you don't have to talk to that Goron. I'm always tempted to talk to loads of them because I just find them cool, as I said, but I'm not gonna take away too much of your time on that in this video. It's gonna let you watch the more important stuff. There's no point in going to a lot of these places in here. It's best to just go straight down and start this quest, which you do at this door you're going to be going to in a second, because you really need the bombs. You can use the bomb flowers if you want, but you really need the bombs, and you can't even use the bomb flowers without going through this door, so I'm going to leave the sort of Goron City side quests for the moment. There are various places you could get into if you bomb them, but I won't bother for now. I quite like this sort of light that surrounds him in various different colours when he plays different tunes. I don't know what it represents exactly, but I like the fact that it does that. And I think that this is one of the rare places where you'll find Deku sticks inside these pots. I don't know why it tells you why it's in a bad mood and then tells you but don't do anything about it after it's just told you to go away. So what you have to do is play Sarah's song. I don't know why, but he just seems to really like it for some reason. In fact, generally Sarah's song seems to be something that the characters like. Skull Kid quite like that song, for example, the one in the forest, so I don't know. It just seems to be a song that the creatures of Hyrule think is quite happy. This is like watching your dad dance. No offense, Dad, if you ever watch this. I'll admit, I haven't seen you dancing that often, but this music isn't that cool, actually. This is not dance music. I've heard dance music, and this is not dance music. See, I wish I could get depression to go away that easily. I have been through actual depression before, and you didn't really need to know that, but the point is that Sarah's song didn't cure it. Actually, Daruna does kind of remind me of a dad with some of the things he says. Why don't you prove that you're a real man by going and doing this thing for me? You know, my dad's not that sort of guy asking people to prove they're real men and stuff, but yeah, he does kind of remind me of someone's dad. I don't know why I did that. Guess I was trying to play music to it for some reason. I think you could maybe, if you run out of time, use the fire from one of the ones you previously lit to like the next one, but you do have to do it in a certain amount of time. I like the way that Link spins as well. I don't quite know why he does, but I don't know, maybe he's trying to keep his eyes on it and getting confused by the way it does that. Now, I don't know if I'll have to do that again later, but I've decided actually that I'm not going to show off what you have to do. You have to throw bombs into it, but it's actually easier to use a bomb thrower. I just thought I'd show off what that did. But yeah, it's easier if you have your own bombs for that. There's a few things that you can do with bombs in the Goron city that I'm not going to show off till later. Fortunately, there are no new creatures here at night, not like stall children or anything. They don't come up here, so. Now, you might have noticed a heart piece up there. It is possible to get it with a glitch, and I tried to get it with a glitch, but I'm really not good with glitches, and I didn't manage it, and I in fact edited that bit out of my video. So it's entirely possible to get it later. There's no need to use a shortcut like glitch. If you do want to try it, it's something that you have to do with your sword that allows you to jump over there, but you have to look that up on someone else's channel. Eventually you're going to need bags to put in that hole, and I was hoping that there were some bags underneath this rock, but they're not. Now normally if there are rocks or flowers next to one of those holes in the ground, one of those small holes with kind of the kind of dirt around it, then there will be bags hidden under the rocks or flowers or whatever's there, but for some reason not in this case. If you realise you've thrown the bomb somewhere else, it's best just to walk away, because they will hurt you if they explode near you, as bombs are wont to do. And finally we get into the second dungeon, Dodongo's Cavern, which is a pretty good dungeon. It's my favourite out of the three you do as a child. I have been in better fire levels than this, and there is another fire level, the Fire Temple, which is also pretty good, although it'll be a while before we go to that. But this is a decent enough sort of fire dungeon. I have played this twice before now. I'm actually playing a few episodes in advance before recording it, so that I'll know where I am, if you see what I mean, in the Let's Play, so I'll know what to do next. And also just because I haven't played this game for about 10 years and it would be fun. But there are a couple of times in this dungeon where I'm probably going to get a little lost and confused. I'm not using a guide though for how to complete this dungeon, I don't think. Not unless I get really lost. I will tell you at the times when I'm using a guide. I will be using a guide at some point, I think. Probably when we get to the Forest Temple. This always reminds me a little bit of the caveman level on Conker's Bad Fur Day, because that has this big sort of dinosaur-like skull on it that you have to open up in quite a more disgusting way than the way you do in Dodongo's Cavern, but that's Conquered Fur Day for you. Right, in case you didn't catch that was when where Dodongo's eyes turn red, a new way will be opened, which is a bit of a clue for later on. Now, I left the, I think it's the compass during this episode. I should really collect it before I go into that door. I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. It's because I don't want to be boring you with loads of silence. But yeah, I didn't do that yet, and that's because the compass doesn't really tell you a lot. To be honest, it tells you where chests are, but I think that's pretty much it, and we will be coming back into this area later. So I decided to just leave it for now, so that we'll get to see more of the dungeon. These are called Venus, and you'll recognise them if you played A Link to the Past. And they are very annoying, because if one looks directly at you, it will shoot a laser beam, and the only way to kill them is by throwing a bomb at them. So, I'm up here in the very first dungeon of A Link to the Past. That's just what you want, isn't it? In the very first dungeon. Something that you can only kill with bombs and not with any other weapons at all. You actually need to destroy them, by the way. Now, you need to watch this carefully, because this is actually quite a difficult puzzle. And I've cut out loads of times when I actually spent about half an hour trying to remember how to do this puzzle. So now that I've eventually remembered, just watch what I do as you play along, because you need to get all of those to explode at the same time as each other. Now that's pretty much the end of this episode. So I guess I'll be talking to you again in episode 9, and we'll be continuing with this dungeon.